Hello, my name is Professor David Brodsky, and I'm the chairperson of the Department of Judaic Studies. And I'm here with Professor Alan Amanek, and he is our professor of American Jewish History here at Brooklyn College. Um, and in and specifically, he's teaching this coming semester, fall 2021, a course on American Jewish History, JUST 3047. Which is also a pathways course in the US and its diversity category. And it's this coming fall, it will be offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. And without further ado, so Professor Amanek, tell us a little bit about the class.
Yeah, so it's sort of a general survey of American Jewish history. We follow that story from the colonial period, 17th, 18th century, through to the late 20th century or so. Just really think about, both some of the bigger themes that are kind of, shaping that story: immigration, commerce, political activism, history of the family. But through that, also thinking about how each of those elements, right, is very fundamental to a larger kind of American story, American society over time.
Great. And so this is your field of study, right? This is, American Jewish history. That's what you are a professor of. So, what got you interested in this field, and what and in this class particular?
Hmm. Yeah, so I often say um, it's a course about American Jewish history, but I think it's also really a story of what this nation is supposed to represent, what it likes to think that it many times does represent. But much of this history, right? It's a story of immigrants leaving poverty, political, physical insecurity, and finding, some solid foundation in economic opportunity, religious freedom. But here it's also sort of a story about how that group became very invested in kind of continuing the fulfillment of that promise, holding the state accountable when it felt that it was sort of falling short, uh, you know, for Jews, but also for other groups around them. And there's something, I think, optimistic. There's something sort of hopeful, and I think very instructive, especially for us now in sort of following how some of that played out. So that's I think that's what drew me to it. That's what keeps me in it.
Great. Um, and can you tell us, give us an example of like a particular text or source that, material that the students are going to encounter in your class that you think is particularly interesting, and tell us why.
Yeah, particularly interesting. I think some of the films that we watch, everyone loves films. They students tend to like them. They also tend to kind of get at much of this. So there is a portion after following kind of mass migration, 19th, 20th century. There are a few kind of Yiddish language films that I will cycle through over the semesters. Um, you know, many of these many of these feature very prominent kind of Yiddish actors, actresses, from the theater who are kind of making their transition from theater to film. I think one thing that's really compelling about these is they often, are shot on location, right? So they're going to Europe to do the filming. This is happening in the 20s, the 30s, right? So there's also, we, in retrospect, right, we know sort of the road that that world is leading to. So there's something very profound there as well. You know, but a lot of these are kind of about, you know, what is the story of what's left behind? What is the story of what it transforms into in the United States? And also, you know, they often feature just really amazing performances. And I think one of the things that often surprises students is like, oh, these things are from the 30s, but they're fun.
Right. That's great. Thanks. Uh, what are some of your favorite subjects or themes in the class?
Um, yeah, I mean, we've spoken, I think, about you know, I think immigration generally. But I think one thing too that I like very much about this course is, you know, a diverse kind of regional perspective. You know, so a tried and true New York transplant or a transplant to New York. You know, for me, everything stops and ends at New York. But in this course, because it's American Jewish history, you know, I try really hard to focus on different areas of the country over time. You know, so taking a look at the South, taking a look at the Midwest, taking a look at the West Coast, you know, just thinking about how and why does region matter, or how or why does region kind of, you know, shape some of the larger, you know, structures going on there. That's one thing I think that, you know, is very interesting to me, at least.
So you're saying Midwestern Jews like me get our fair share in this course.
You do.
Good. Great. Um, and I guess I'll jump to the last question. What do you hope students will take away from this class?
Hmm. You know, I think I think I'm thinking very much, you know, about activism, about social justice these days. You know, both politically in my research and my teaching, and you know, we focus on that, and I hope that students will sort of take away a lesson that anyone can make a difference, you know, no matter how large or how small their community is. You know, if they're willing to speak up, if they're willing to have meaningful conversations with folks around them, you know, that they can find common cause, and, you know, sort of form coalitions transcending religious differences, ethnic differences, racial differences. You know, that for me is one of the major kind of lessons of American Jewish history in the 20th century. Right, those folks really felt that the best way to promote equity and to combat prejudice for one group was to fight to ensure those protections for all groups. And, you know, I think today, if there's any kind of historic model, right, that we might be able to look to, you know, even if it's in the smallest way, you know, to kind of inform work that needs to be done going forward. Um, you know, I'm hoping that some empowerment and empathy, right, might be something that kind of comes out of this.
Fantastic. Thank you. I mean, and excuse me, I just inhaled. But thank you. I mean, I think that's the perfect way to end this little video of ours. And so to the audience out there, potential students, come take this class and learn a little bit about the American Jewish experience and how that fits into the American experience in general, and how that fits into the narrative of who we are today, and how we can help America to be a little bit more of what we want it to be. So thank you very much, Professor Alan Amanek. And again, the course is JUST 3047, American Jewish History, and it is in fall of 2021. It will be offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you.